we are talking of socio-economic rights of women, we are talking of issues of bread and butter, issues that touch even not only their lifestyle, but how they are able to fend for their families, for their homes, how they're even able to contribute effectively to the production and the development of their own country. So that is why my women's rights issues are very peculiar and are very sensitive, I may say, because they really touch on how a woman can be able to fit into the development agenda of their community, their country. So additionally, there is an ongoing battle between the state and the Zimbabwean constitution. The politics at play is unable to provide 50% of female representation in political positions. There is no political will to facilitate the implementation of constitutional provisions as far as gender equality is concerned. So when we are talking of socio-economic rights, we're not only talking of female representation in decision-making processes which matter to them and their lives. So moving on, we are talking of coverage of women's rights and women's issues. The media are mostly tilted towards social ills that are affecting women and having effect on women realizing and enjoying their rights and socio-economic justice. I had a picture, but of a women women's rights are human's rights. It's not it's not war, please. I see but I can say it's an advocacy issue that started not now. It's continuing. It started way back. And with these brave women, I would just maybe say in brief, there was an issue where women who were not married, single women, divorced, or even you are a widow, whether what I say can out to Moshindro Bas, why go back to an table once you are what? A sex worker. And even at that time, the media would report in such a manner where it diminishes the dignity of a woman. Because a woman would have to fight for her life, for herself, to try and remove herself from such atrocities. You are a sex worker just because you are single, just because maybe you're not yet married, or you are divorced, or maybe you are what you feel, but you have no other way but society names and calls you a sex worker. In this day and age, it has graduated. Kunzita, people are slave queens. And it's graduated. Yeah. Talk and this naming of being kunzingure and I've seen that much, but people should know slave queen cat. And so that is how women are being perceived, and that is how it is becoming a trend in the normal society. It started from way back, and it's still continuing up to this age. It just changes names, changes my dynamics, just like culture changes, but the difference is just the same. So with 52% of the population not realizing their full potential as well as their rights, it therefore translates into 52% of the population not fully contributing to the country's development agenda, discourse on gender equality and equity, as well as a vision that foresees equal representation of women in decision-making. Media Monitor reported that on continued unfavorable coverage of women during the election period. I think he touched on that, especially where women candidates fall victim to hate speech, mainly on social media platforms. So it doesn't change. It's only graduating, Chet. It doesn't really change. It just comes in a different dimension. Back then they were called sex workers. Now it's hate speech. you are being attacked on social media, you don't even have a husband. That's the first thing. And from back then, the issue still remains. So which issues are actually being covered in the media? Media institutions always have a public obligation to disseminate news that is fair, balanced, and gender sensitive. It is important that the media provides a diverse, balanced, and gender sensitive coverage that reflects existing inequalities in our society rather than merely prioritizing politics, the economy, and statistics on how women are being affected by lack of access to essential services and justice. So basically we focus on how many GBV cases have actually happened. We are not actually focusing on what is causing that social ill in our society. How can we do away with that inequality? How can we bridge the gap?